So yes, I am back once again after being off from this for quite a long while. So not only have I been a little bit busy, there also hasn't actually been all that much that's come out at the cinema that I've been able to make it to or really had too much of an interest in seeing. But who knows what's going to happen in the future. All I know for sure is that I crawled out from under my rock to come and see Venom. So, was it worth crawling out from under my rock for? Let's get into it. So Venom is the standalone film of the Spider-Man villain turned anti-hero that Sony Pictures are relying on to somewhat carry their remaining stakes in Marvel and the comic book adaptations that they have left. Even though Spider-Man makes absolutely no appearance in this film at all because he is now property of Marvel Studios and not Sony anymore. So the origins for Venom is kind of got around by not having Spider-Man involved, by kind of combining his original comic book references from the classic universe with those of what we see in the Ultimate Universe. So yes, he is a symbiote from outer space, but he has no correlation to Spider-Man in this film. Instead, he goes straight into Eddie Brock, who is played by Tom Hardy in this film, and Tom Hardy, for the most part, pretty much carries this entire film on his own shoulders. Mostly because all of the rest of the cast are either completely badly written, or completely forgettable, or just unrecognizable in some form. I mean, it was literally like the writers of this film focused so much on Venom and Tom Hardy that they then, at the end of the script writing process, went, oh wait, we've got to have some other characters in here because he's got to have people to play off of. Oh, well, let's throw some people in there as well. And that really does kind of show in the pacing of this film, mainly because a lot of the rest of the characters that are involved in this film make some really questionable choices and snap decisions. It's just that character motivations in this film didn't necessarily sit well with me, and I can kind of see that that is where a lot of the film begins to fail in its execution. And I think another reason that Venom begins to kind of fail in what it attempted to be is because they didn't go fully committed into what kind of character Venom is. In the comic books, Venom is a very violent and gruesome character. He is an anti-hero in some places. He's kind of in it for himself. And to kind of hint towards that in this film is not necessarily doing the entire character as much justice as it would have if it had a little bit of a higher rating and could show a little bit more. That being said, there probably could be an extended cut somewhere along the line that shows some more of this, so we don't really know at the moment. That being said, Venom as a whole is not without its good moments, and at least this iteration of Venom looks and sounds and somewhat acts a lot more like what fans were hoping to see. There are some actual, genuine, funny moments in this film, whether it's intentional or unintentional. For the most part, I believe it's intentional, but some genuine funny moments in this film where Tom Hardy is kind of having this conversation with this voice inside of his head that is Venom, and everyone else is looking at him really strange, and Venom is just kind of that little demon on his shoulder telling him to do things, and you can hear it and he can hear it, but no one else can. And yeah, there are some cool fight scenes as well, probably not as violent as they could have got away with a slightly higher rating, but it does make up for some of the pacing issues that it faces, and some of the blatant editing issues that went on as well. One of which is glaringly obvious in the fact that at one point it says 6 months later, and it has still taken one symbiote 6 months to get from Asia to America, and that's including a plane. Wait, what did it do? Did it bloody walk from one end of Asia to the other just to get a cheaper flight to America or something? 6 months it took it. What was going on? So overall, Venom is not quite as bad as a lot of critics would have you believe, although it could have probably been a bit better and benefited more from sticking to the character's nature a little bit more, having it a little bit more violent, and also not doing that usual Sony Pictures thing of having the last shot of the film included in the trailer. Sony, why? Why does this keep happening with films that you are releasing? Why? So when it comes to a rating for Venom, I feel like any more than 3 stars is a little bit of overkill, but then any less than 2, and you're not really doing the film justice. So I'm gonna say that Venom gets 2.5 stars out of me. Could potentially be 3 stars on the release of an extended cut, but we will soon find out about that, I'm sure. So, Venom. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? What was the coolest or funniest part of the film for you? What other characters do you want to see in future Venom films? Because they're probably going to do more of these now. And what do you think, spoiler alert, of Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy being Carnage in the next film? All comments are welcome in the comment section below. Let's talk nerdy. As always, if you've liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more from me in the future, as and when I actually do release them, you can click right here to subscribe and see some more funky, fresh videos from yours truly. And until that point, what is this? It looks delicious.